my goal is to randomly walk into salons and ask them or ask the client, like, are you struggling with hair loss? And then kind of pick the brain on the spot of the hairdresser, like, well, what would your approach be?
Mm-hmm.
And then ask the client, like, well, what do you think? And then kind of help the salon and then go to another salon, like kind of like but again, content, someone following me, I don't want to sit there and edit it at the end of the day, but I know I have the power to help these people and to help the salons realize that they do have power and that they can become the trusted expert that the clients think that they are.
So if you had to pick one person to speak to, right, one archetype of a person to speak to, are you going to speak directly to the person who has hair loss and these scalp conditions, or to the salon owners who can help them? Like, what's your priority?
Now I'm starting to see a shift in my mindset, and I really am going more towards the salon.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my goal. I think that they don't because I host free webinars every single Monday, and every single time they're floored at like, wait, I don't need to get certified. I could just do these 3 things and I'm good. And it's like, yes.
What's the biggest thing that people don't know about hair loss? And are you specifically treating women or both men and women?
I would say about 85% is women. I would say the rest are young boys. Not young girls, young boys.
How young?
17 to about 20.
Okay.
Their parents are calling me. I had about 5 this week. Last week during the holiday break, when the kids were home, blew up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That seems very young to be losing your hair.
Something's going on.
Yeah.
Something's going on. So that's where trichology comes in. We really have to, there's a 2-pronged approach. We have to fill out a lengthy intake form to understand, even though they're that young, they're not really on medications, but these kids are really stressed, extremely stressed in college. Social media, I think, is doing a lot of it. I think they're on a lot of medications, anxiety medications. One kid he was up for 3 days straight because he had to study for his exam. So, and he's like, every time I would touch my head, the hair would fall. So it's wild to me. And no one wants to hear that stress can do that. Because they're like, well, okay, well, then you live my life. Like, they kind of are like, well, but there's things we can do. You do your part at home. We can support the follicle and the health and the health of the hair and the scalp by doing in-treatment stuff and topicals.
Do you think that it's mainly stress that is causing these issues for both men and women? I guess now mainly in the young people that you're seeing?
The young people is definitely stress, and I don't want to get political, but definitely vaccines.
Okay.
Even if you have not had a vaccine, I believe COVID, there's ramifications there. If you've had it, we're seeing that,
You're saying just even having the virus, having contracted it.
Viruses are funny because they can come out in the hair shaft. So I have a lot of clients, like right now we're in January, flu is rampant. So around April or May, if your body was to be affected in the way that your hair will shed, we'll actually see a strip of a line of demarcation in the hair shaft. So the line of demarcation will change. So that's one way of telling, like, the virus has left the body. But there's no proof. I'm just taking the data and just supporting the best way that I can with the education that I have.
Well, there's nothing you can do about it now, right?
Exactly.
Someone gets the flu, gets a strain of COVID, there's still COVID around now.
Exactly, yep.
I'm sure that's one of the things that was going around. I mean, my daughter had maybe RSV, maybe a strain of COVID, whatever it was a few weeks ago that was going around right before the holidays, and that, wheezing and everything, like, it's terrifying.
Oh my gosh,
but you can't
especially
control that stuff.
No, absolutely not. But when we're older, what people don't realize is now with trichology,
you keep saying trichology. I'm sorry to cut you off there, but this is a good place for you to just kind of like introduce yourself, introduce trichology and what it is that you do.
Yeah, so my name is Laura Volpe. I'm the founder of ManeInk Hair Loss Solutions, where I bridge the gap between healthcare and hair care. I'm the founder of ManeInk Hair Loss Solutions and the creator of ManeInk Academy. Trichology is really where we study hair disorders, scalp disorders, and we are a branch of dermatology and cosmetology. So it lives in the middle. And that's where my passion is. It's like partnering with dermatologists to letting them know that we need them in support, you know, cortisone shots, scalp biopsies, things like that. And then also living, you know, supporting the hairdressers in you do have the power. So that is about me.
What kind of like certifications or education is required to be in your field?
Yeah, so there is a certification. There are lots of different companies that have it. There's different ways in which you can get certified. Some of them are a year program. Some of them are, you know, a 3-day online course. It just depends on, you know, which one you pick. I will say, like anything else, you take your education and you don't know what to do with it. So a lot of what I do is self-taught. I study, I read books, I'm reading data. And then, you know, just experience. I've been doing this 5 years. Having the hair background is really important. Anyone can become a trichologist. You could be a banker and take that certification and you're a trichologist. So I find that kind of amazing. That's the certification is the, you know, picking the company that you want to study from and then taking it from there.
And I like the way that you put it, where you're bridging the gap between healthcare and hair care.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
The more you explain it to me and the more I get to know you, it sounds more like healthcare to me than, I mean, it is obviously for the
Sure.
purpose of hair care, but like this is a lot deeper than just like going to your local salon,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
This is medical care in a way.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm not accepting insurance. But there are things that we can do, unfortunately not New York, but there are things that we can do to like everyone's buying, and I hate to say the brand because I don't want to call them out, it has nothing to do with that. So actually I will leave it out, but people are buying supplements randomly, right? Because they get a marketing person on there, they get a celebrity on there, and then all of a sudden they grew their hair back in 3 months and they have a full head of hair because of this supplement. And here's what people don't realize. Every single body, B-O-D-Y, body is different. Every single person has different genetics, environmental factors, stress. All of that is related to why someone could be losing their hair. So epigenetic testing is so powerful because it doesn't just test the blood, it tests the everything about what the body is going through. So with that, you can find out exactly what you're deficient in and then get supplements to match it so that you're not guessing. A lot of what we're doing in the world, not just hair, even, you know, like now, peptides are huge. So people are going to go buy all these peptides. But do you need peptides? You know, do you need vitamin B? Like, so getting those specific biomarkers is so important. Your doctor's certainly not going to give you a test that has over 888 biomarkers. They're not going to test for mold. They're not going to test for environmental factors, gut issues. They're not. You have to ask for it, and then they're going to question you. And so, you know, it really does go into the healthcare aspect, but you also have to remove yourself from that and letting them know I'm not a doctor. I'm a conduit. That's what I like. I feel like I'm a conduit between, you know, helping them get to where they need to be. So like, here's a test. I can help you understand it. If you're not happy with the levels, then seek out further help.
Is that the first step when someone is like, let's say, losing their hair? Is the first step that testing?
No, the first step is a scalp scan.
Okay.
Because you really want to look at if there's inflammation on the scalp. That's a 200 magnification. Looking at vellus to terminal hairs, your miniaturized hairs to your healthy, thriving hairs. Scalp disorders, frontal fibrosing, scaling around the perifollicular opening. We were looking at a lot. What's really cool now is going back to the hair industry. The world is going towards AI, but the hair industry can never tap into that. I mean, maybe my kids' kids will have a robot doing their hair, but this is going to be an industry where we can't remove the human aspect from it. So how does the hair industry tap into AI? We have an AI scalp scan. now that I use to actually measure and quantify data. So when you're starting treatment, I can measure that through an AI scalp scan device. So I have 2 devices, but again, letting the salons know that you can kind of remove yourself from that information because it's going to give it to you.
Yeah, I think in general across a lot of industries, right? We're in an industry where we're creating content,
yeah.
we're filming all the time. Like, it does take a human being and it does take creativity that, we've used these like AI tools that will edit your videos for
Yep.
you. And we test them all the time. I test them against my guys out there all the time. Like I've sat Eric down multiple times and said, all right, you edit this video, give me 5 clips. I'm going to throw it in this AI machine and see what it spits out. And Eric always wins because there is that human element to it.
Sure.
But there's the data side of it, or there's the like, how can we utilize these tools to maybe make things more efficient or help us get to the good stuff faster ourselves?
Yes.
And that's where, like, in a lot of industries that still require humans, there's a lot of applications for AI and like just analyzing data and looking through things. I mean, you're talking about data and 800 different biomarkers and places. If you can run it through something that has the background and has been trained on those different biomarkers,
and then it
can help
gives
you
you a clear-cut diagram. Like it consolidated all of that.
Gives
data.
you the diagnosis and then the roadmap, and now it's like, okay, here's what we need to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's really cool.
So yeah, we need it. Unfortunately, I feel like we're feeding the beast.
In what way? What do you mean?
Like, we're gonna not in our lifetime. And again, I don't believe in my children's lifetime, but I think moving forward, we're feeding what we're going to be replaced because we're feeding it information. Again, it's almost like when you go back in time. This is getting off like completely.
No, it's cool. I like it.
Going back in time, when you think of like when the refrigerator came out and the microwave, you look at all those 1950s like things, and the woman was like, oh my God, I could just open up a can of food and plop it in the microwave and my day has been simplified, right? And now look where we are because of that. The drive-throughs are filled. There's no one sitting there's no one sitting down at the table anymore. We've removed that one thing that kept the family together. And I believe it started with making things easier for the humans. And I feel like we're doing the same thing today. In like 50, 60 years, they're going to say it started with ChatGPT. Just the way that I'm saying it started with the microwave and the canned food.
See, I'm an optimist around that stuff in that go back to the Industrial Revolution and machines coming in, the steam engine, all those things that changed the course of history and put us on to where we are today. People were worried then about losing jobs. And I guess I'm talking more specifically about the job side of things. I know the community and connection aspect that you touched on with the families around the dinner table is definitely something that's lacking in today's society, probably because of certain advancements. But on the job side, I think people are always worried about being replaced, and I think our role just shifts based on the technology and the tools that we have available to us, because there's always going to be a need for humans. It's just what level of productivity can you get out of a human being when they're paired up with these tools.
Sure. Yeah, that's you're right. We were worried back then and you know what?
And a shitload of people lost their jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like the guys who were peeling the corn themselves by hand lost their jobs because there's a machine that does that now.
Right.
But over long periods of time, maybe a decade or two, those people then learn new skills that became part of maybe how to operate that machine or how to sell that machine to somebody else. So they short term for the individual might be Steve loses his job or Laura loses her job, but the macro of it, or the long term, is we as a society shift and our needs as human beings shift.
Very true. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
because now I'll think differently.
Well, I think in general, I mean, there's so many different rabbit holes you can go down, and I haven't had this conversation with anyone, so that's why I was interested to go down that rabbit hole with you. I meet up once a quarter with a group of people who are all business owners, and we talk about different problems. We all bring a guest to dinner,
Yeah.
and it just becomes like a big business owner therapy session at the end of the dinner.
Like when you're struggling and like
Yeah.
just, yeah. That's
And the whole
cool.
point is we bring people together who the goal is to help each other,
Yeah.
right? So it's
love
not
that.
like I'm bringing these people in so that I can work with them
Yeah.
or anything like that. It is like I'm bringing this person to the table because I met them and I know that TJ is someone that can help them.
Right.
And TJ is going to be at this dinner. So I got to make sure that I bring this person so that they can meet.
Yeah.
And whether they work together or he just gets good insight through the dinner,
Right.
that's the purpose of it. And
Yeah.
we have ground rules that we can't
cool.
talk about two things. Maybe one thing. Oh, two things. One is everyone goes around the table and says what's the biggest problem they're having. And you cannot say I need more clients.
Okay.
And you cannot say I need more or better people.
Okay.
Everyone has those problems in business. And
absolutely.
that's what we're trying to solve for. You can say you can be creative about how you go about it.
Right.
So you can say the biggest problem I'm having is I'm looking for more events to become a part of as a
Right.
vendor,
Right.
which in turn gets you the clients, right? It's the downstream
Absolutely.
effect of it. But
Yeah.
we kind of have that like off limits thing.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if like pretty soon it's going to be like all right, no talking about how AI is going to replace you, because I think it very well could. But
yeah. I mean, again, we still need.
that's our role as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as people who are, generating revenue and coming up with new products and ideas. It's to find out what the need is that people are looking for.
Yeah. Like I created a product. It's not out yet. But because of the industry I'm in, I'm listening to the people and their needs. It was like an aha moment,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Can you talk about the product at all? What is it? Okay.
No, I'm not even there yet.
Okay.
I have a potential investor, so we'll see. But no, it's interesting, my journey, as everyone, went through it. Because this is not an industry I sought out.
Mm-hmm.
When I started in the industry, I was washing hair at 16, 17. And then I went to college. And the cash was so good, shampooing hair.
Mm-hmm.
The people were amazing. And it's just something I actually fell into and became really good at. And then I furthered my education in becoming a gold dual master colorist 4 times over. Succeeded at that. And then during the pandemic, when the world shut down, the salon industry, much like restaurants, we got hit really hard because you had to be 6 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a salon of 15 stylists, now 6 feet apart. We weren't getting paid. We weren't, the government wasn't giving us any assistance. So I used that time to really sit and think about what my clients were really asking when they were sitting in my chair. Because at that time, I've done every balayage, root smudge, baby light. I was kind of like bored, and it was always hair loss. And we had no solutions for them other than surface level. Even back then, there weren't very many salon products.
Mm-hmm. And we're only talking 5-6 years ago.
6 years ago, yeah. And then I said, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help solve my clients' problems. And I found scalp micropigmentation, which is a non-invasive hair loss procedure that uses pointillism to fill in the sparse areas in the scalp. So it makes it look like you have hair, much like microblading for the eyebrows, but it's for the scalp.
Okay.
I thought I hit the nail on the head. I invested in a lot of money for the training, all the equipment, just to find out that Suffolk County's regulations are extremely tight. You have to go through another set of training. No one's doing this out here. Who was I going to get trained by? So I did that. That was a big struggle. That's a conversation in and of itself. But when I started going to networking groups, everyone was like, that is really, really cool. But what do you think of Nutrafol? What do you think of these hair gummies? What do you think of shampoos? And I'm like, I'm not even sure. Like, I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's where the trichology piece came in. And now it's just full circle. So this was something very accidental, and from it came a product that I designed. And now educating the industry.
So what's the main problem that you're seeing, or the main thing that people don't understand about their hair loss when they're coming to you? Or is it just extremely individualized, or are there any like major trends?
Extremely individualized, yet extremely, like if you take a fishbowl, this is the only visualization I get. I'm very visual. You get a fishbowl and you just add a bunch of different food coloring to it, and then by the end of it, it's just like black and dark.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you take two colors and you mix it together, you get a color. But with hair loss, it's like they're on medications, they're in their 50s, they're in menopause, they've had surgery, they're stressed, they're on GLP-1s. It's like, how much more crap can we add to the pot? So it's just so complex.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the one thing I wish I can just scream from the rooftops is letting everyone know that your Amazon scalp serum and your influencer that's going to sell a vacuum 15 minutes later is not going to help you. Stop spinning your wheels, stop wasting your time, your energy, and your money, and go to an educated person that can actually give you like a protocol based on your scalp needs.
Couldn't have said it better. No, I mean, you're talking about the fishbowl, adding the different food dyes in there, the different colored dyes in there. Are there any rules or takeaways that you would have for anyone? And I'll use fitness as the analogy because that's the only thing that I know. Is like, all right, there's all these factors, right? You have hormones, what you're eating, the vitamins that you're getting, how much sunlight, how much stress, all these different factors that go into it, the medications. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, there are some simple rules or tools that you can use where it's like, okay, if you're having these health issues, obviously maybe being at a healthy weight, eating cleaner food, making sure that you're doing resistance training, like those core pillars of health. Are there any core pillars of hair health or scalp health?
Yeah, so definitely eating properly. That is a rule for, I think, every aspect in our life, right? Water, stress, mitochondria. So like during the winter, our scalp doesn't get enough sunlight. Mm-hmm. So red light therapy, whether it's on the head or a panel. I'm getting one in the clinic actually, hopefully in the next 2 weeks. Eating clean, exercise, all of that comes into play because the cortisol levels are then reduced. Definitely reduce stress, eating healthy, making sure you're on the proper supplements that you are deficient in and that you need, maintaining that, making sure that your levels are changing so that you're retesting yourself. And then just making sure that understanding your scalp type. So for instance, last week I had a client come in. Her scalp, I wish your viewers can like see this, but her scalp.
Do you have any images or videos of it?
I do.
You can send them to me after. We'll put it in.
So her scalp was, when I tell you inflamed, it was so bad. So I go by something called the SET, the client's story, their exam, and then the tests. So the story is really like their intake form. And when they come into the clinic, I talk to them just like this. I already read their intake form the night before, never earlier, so it's fresh in my mind. I went over it, I sit with them, and they love to talk about products they're using, what they've tried, and I listen to their story. And then I do the exam, that's the derm scope. And then I get the result. So in listening to her story, she was using a salon quality shampoo, conditioner, scalp topical, all the things, and then was using a bonnet at night. So a bonnet is essentially like a shower cap. Mm-hmm. Because they're telling people that like it's going to create moisture and it's going to hydrate your hair and it's going to like do everything. But what's happening is it's incubating it, and it's a breeding ground for malassezia. Like it's just growing.
It sounds like, because I'm a new dad, it sounds like diaper rash, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
my daughter had diaper rash, and we
Yes.
just like couldn't figure out, and the doctor was like, just let it air out.
Yes.
Just let it dry.
You let it run around and you clean up the mistakes if there are any, and you just let it do its thing. But with the scalp, it's like a fish tank. There's a balance of fungi and bacteria that live harmoniously together. And once one kind of comes out of whack, then there's an issue. So with her, when I heard her protocol, I said, I'm not doing any scalp treatments on you. We're not going to do any growth treatments on you. We're actually going to do nothing. You're going to stop doing every single thing you do at home. Just use my shampoo and conditioner. That's it. Come back in a week, we'll rescan. I was not thinking that it was going to be the result that I got, but her scalp was clean as a whistle. Clean as a whistle. I mean, I have never seen that in my 5.5 years. Clean as a whistle. It was all of that incubation, and it was all of that malice. Thank God it didn't become a fungi or a bacteria. So understanding your scalp type, I think the question was, I think I just went off the tracks.
Who knows what the question was?
Who knows
It
at
doesn't
this
matter
point? I
at
don't
this
know,
point.
but we cleared her up, and now she's on. We did a weekly scalp treatments for a month, and now she's on to her hair growth treatments. So really understanding the scalp type that you have before you're starting treatment.
When you say scalp type, are there like a set 4 scalp
there's
types out
basically
there?
a step 4, like oily, dry, inflamed, and then like a combo.
Mm-hmm.
And then you treat accordingly. So like my scalp spa, which is a completely different entity, I call it the scalp spa room, that's for anyone that just wants rest and relaxation, right? But we want to hydrate the scalp because our scalp ages 6 times faster than our facial skin. We just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a way in which I can see what kind of scalp they have and then create the scalp treatment based on their scalp needs. So it's never the same.
There's been I just know this from my wife, there's been like a lot of these like scalp treatments that are becoming more popular.
Yeah.
And I guess, is there any validity to those things? Are those good? Are those bad? Should people avoid them or continue doing them?
So it depends where you go. You want to go to someone that's a trichologist because we just understand the scalp and the microbiome there. A lot of these places that are popping up, there's like one cosmetologist, and then a lot of them are not even cosmetologists. They're working underneath the cosmetologists, and they're just scrubbing aggressively. They're putting tea on the scalp. They're portable sinks. They're completely unsanitary. Actually, a lot of the state boards are picking up on that. They're banning portable sinks. So
What's the difference between like a portable sink and a regular sink?
Plumbing is like if you take a shower, the plumbing just goes wherever it goes. I don't even know, but portable means that you're draining it into a tank, and then you have to dump that. So all of those pipes can hold like bacteria and all that. So you want to clean it. I did have a portable sink for a little bit, but I sanitize mine.
Yeah, it probably comes down to neglect.
Yeah.
People just not cleaning it.
I say stay away from them. I've heard horror stories. There was just a Facebook post. And also, there's a set temperature. You can't, when it's like, oh my God, it's too hot, you could just change it. With the portable sinks, you can't. You have to put it on a number, and you got to wait for that whole tank to become that temperature. So they're problematic. They're not educated, not in a mean way, but they're just not educated on scalp health. So it's more of like someone just wanting to get, like, listen, I go to the Chinese places to get a $40 foot rub. I'm not really getting reflexology.
Yeah.
Like
it's a scalp massage when you go to one of those places.
That's exactly what it is. So I tell everyone there's something for everyone. Just know what you're getting. But when you have a scalp issue, you don't want to go to those places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you're saying it's your scalp ages 6 times faster than your skin, but we just don't see it. So how do you know if you have a scalp issue? Like I might have one right now, and I don't know about it because I don't see it.
Typically you would know because it would be outwardly noticeable, meaning you'd be itching, you'd have scalp sensitivity, you'd be burning, you'd be flaking.
Okay.
They would be things that would, let you know that there's something going on there. But I do have people that come in that are for hair loss concerns, and their scalp is like built up, and they're like, oh my God, that's my scalp. I just washed it, I swear. I'm like, I know, but this is, how often are you washing? It was once only washed 2 to 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
But our sebaceous glands start to kick in. The dead skin cells start to turn over. The products that we're using, everything becomes like a big gunk, so people are shocked when they see it. So if you had a scalp condition, you would know.
Okay.
Yeah. And most guys don't, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, we have.
You get it cut all the time.
Yeah, it's like once a month I'm getting my hair cut, and
Yeah.
I'd probably shower 2 or 3 times more often than my wife.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Like at least wash my hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, guys are lucky.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, you guys are very lucky. But yeah.
So, I guess let's go into your journey a little bit now. You kind of like gave us the cliff notes.
Yeah.
Along the way there. But what was I'm always curious, like what the deciding factor was to like go into business for yourself. I mean, it sounds like you were working at other salons.
Yes.
When did you? I guess it was around the COVID time that you made the jump to go and do your own thing. But what was it that made that happen in the first place?
You wanted me to be honest?
Yeah.
Once I took that course, I took that course and I was like all in, which meant financially. And then my vision was I'll do it in the salon, but we're not allowed to by Suffolk County standards. So now I'm like, shit. What do I just invested like $15K and I'm just going to let it go. So that's when I was like, and with me, I'm a creative. So I always have ideas and I never see them through a lot of the times because it's like, I don't know how to do that. Like other things, not hair. I'm talking about like just designing something and like whatever. So I didn't want this to be another one of like Laura's things. Like, oh yeah, she talked about it and didn't follow through. It was more like, okay, I just invested all this money. I have to see a return. I know that there's a need. Let's just do it. Like no one's returning anyway. Like how bad, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bet on myself over and over again at the end of the day. I'm not going to bet on someone doing it for me. I was on this journey alone. If you only knew how many people I called, how many doors I knocked on, how many contacts I did, it was wild. It was really wild. And then right down the road from you, there was this little spot. It was not abandoned. It wasn't in use for a while. And I put more money in. I ripped up all the floors. I did all the painting. I did all the plumbing. I put my life in there. So I think it was a time in my life where I just had to prove to myself, right? I was tired of like waking up and like having these visions and like these things I want to do with myself. And like, I always saw myself being on stage somewhere, always from a very young age. I always saw myself doing something big, but I couldn't sing. I can't act. Like I can't do anything other than hair. And I did not want to be like a runway person. I didn't want to do shows. So I kept it to myself. I'm not going to tell people like, oh my God, I see myself on like, but I had to figure out what that was. And I feel like it was this.
How is this a stage for you?
How is what?
How is what you're doing a stage for you? Like,
I'm finally getting there in 5 years. They say like 5 years. And I'm at that mark right now where like it's shifting.
Like, is it performative? Is it the like physically being in front of the person that makes it the stage for you?
No, I think the confidence that I've lacked, I feel like we always have imposter syndrome, the confidence that I've lacked growing up. I feel like I finally just stepped into myself. I went through a bad breakup. And there was just a lot there, and I needed to stand on my own 2 feet. And I think that like now people are starting to pay attention.
To you, pay attention? Okay.
Yeah. Not like in a, more like, oh wow, she really does know what she's talking about. Because a lot of people will push aside hairdressers that were just hairdressers. right? And then when you step into the hair world, the hair loss, you know, back then no one was doing this. I mean, everywhere you turn now, there's Paul Mitchell, Olaplex, Redken. All of these companies are having scalp lines. So they're paying attention. So now I just got to push really hard. I'm knocking on every single door that I possibly can.
Who are you trying to help? I mean, I think we touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah, so I definitely want to get into like the bigger companies as an educator, and just sharing how you can do what I do without becoming a trichologist. Because people think that once you get that certification, you're going to be able to duplicate what I do, and you can't. I know plenty of trichologists that I'm actually mentoring that have taken the training, and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't understand how to make. Now I don't understand scalp conditions, so I give them protocols, like very specific protocols for scalp types. But I let them know it's not one size fits all. So, yeah, going back to the question, which I think was, it was first the money, then it was proving to myself, and then it was like, I'm onto something. I could feel it. Like you could just feel it in your heart. It just keeps showing up in your mind. And actually, when I first started out, if you want to train for a marathon or you want to train, you have to work out every day, right? I did that differently. I trained my mind. So one of my biggest mentors, who isn't my mentor, so to speak, but was Steve Harvey, thank you.
who ironically has no hair.
Who ironically has no hair.
Except right here.
But he is like, you listen to his stuff on YouTube. Oh my God, you want to talk about power. I listen to him. I listen to Morgan Freeman. You ever listen to Morgan Freeman? His stuff. And then another guy. So I would, driving to and from work, put on something motivational. While I went grocery shopping, I had my earbuds in. My kids would listen to it. I just trained my mind so that, and the one thing that ran true to me was Steve Harvey talks about one of the largest insects in the world has a vertical height of, I don't even know the number. Don't quote me on it. Look it up. But there's this vertical height, like as one of the insects has a hugest vertical jump, more than mankind or something like crazy like that. He's like, but if you put them in a jar, and you ever see that quote?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think it's fleas.
Fleas, yes. Fleas have a vertical jump of like something crazy. For a little, and he goes into it, and the way
it's something like thousands of times their own height that they can jump. Right? It would be like the equivalent of you and I jumping over the Empire State Building.
Exactly. And he just talks about that, and the way he talks about it, and the way there's something about him. I don't talk proper. Like that was one of the biggest things. I struggled when I was younger. I had a speech impediment. I stuttered. I couldn't comprehend things. He had the same thing. And his story and the way he talks, I could just relate to really good. And he talks about that putting the lid on a jar of a family of fleas and how they will only know how far they can jump if you put a lid on it. That sat with me. That things like that I heard is what really got me to where I'm at
I think
today.
there's like a real scientific experiment about that with the fleas where, and I'm probably wrong about it, but it was something like if you put them in a jar with the top and they could only jump that high, when you remove them from it, they will still only jump that high because they think that's the theoretical limit, right? That's what they've been trained to do. And so the analogy for life is you're learning that, oh, there are just these limits that I've been putting on myself that don't actually exist. So I'm saying, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that, when in reality, if you just remove the top of the jar, you could jump, who knows, 1,000 times higher.
Absolutely. And honestly, like now that we're like talking through it, I feel like it's a therapy session, but that is me in a nutshell. Like how I got to, it's because of him, because of that. Like if I was, I'm kind of in these kind of networking groups now that are in the city, and kind of I'm with David Metzler and all them big guys. I went to Aspire tour, kind of in that world. If I could ever just let someone know. Contact him, just let him, he changed my life without even talking to me. It's because of those things like that that really.
When you find the right group of people who have those same beliefs or belief in themselves or understanding of where to go, you can learn a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
Right? I mentioned to you the dinners that I do quarterly with that group of business owners. A lot of those guys have had a major impact on my life, and they might not know it. Maybe they do know it.
Right.
If they're watching this, they probably know it now.
Yeah.
Because some of them are 5, 10, 15 steps ahead of me in this, game of business that we're playing. But also in life. Like some of those men are in their 50s.
Yeah.
And, I'm 31 now. And learning from them and their families and the things that they have going on, like they're 15, 16, 20 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
And when you meet those people, you then realize when you meet the wrong person, that just there's something about them that they don't get it. Right? They're not operating on the same level. And I don't know if your recent transformation into this person that you've become or that you're still becoming has led you to this discovery, but I discovered that a lot of the people that I was spending time with, they just weren't thinking that way, right? Or they weren't going that direction with their lives. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I found myself like losing friendships or just not spending the same amount of time with those people. And that's okay.
You're right. Yeah.
Because I am slowly, like in that influx period of between like the new friendships and the new relationships and the shedding of old friendships.
Yeah.
And not that I have any old friendships that are like negative in any way.
I get it.
It just doesn't, like, I'm not like, oh, I hate that person or I'm shedding that person from my life. It just naturally happened that like I'm not spending as much time with these people because they're just not doing life the way that I'm doing it.
Right. And it's hard to have conversations with them about business. Like I'll start talking to my best friend. I'm like, never mind. Like, forget. Like, she has no idea what a lead magnet is. She has no, like, forget it. Like,
I had a guy sitting right here 3 months ago, and he was saying the same thing. Who do I talk about? Who do I talk to about these problems, right? I can't talk to my wife. I can't talk to my friend. He's a school teacher. Nothing against him. He's a great guy. I love him. He's my best friend. But I can't go to him and be like, man, this employee of mine is fucking up. What do I do?
Yeah, right. They don't get it. And Steve Harvey actually talks about it. He goes, if you want to be a 9-to-5er, great. We all need 9-to-5ers. But if you have this vision in your heart that you keep seeing, you need to go and explore that, right? So in doing that, you can't, like, I could tell this to my friends all the time, and they're like, okay, well, good luck with that. Oh, you're on a podcast today? Oh, great. What's a podcast? You just get tired of it. So when you go into those rooms with those people, you like found your home. Like I went on the Shark Tank. I auditioned for it last year.
Interesting.
And I felt home. I felt at home because I felt like not necessarily the conversations, but every single person in that room has had a struggle to be here. And they didn't give up. They showed up. We sat out in the freezing cold. We waited for hours online. Like there's a certain DNA of these people in that room.
That's interesting. So what's that experience like? They make you go through that? Because I would imagine in that scenario, you're probably losing, I don't know, 40, 50, 60% of the line of the people that are waiting maybe throughout. Like, is there something to the process of going through it being like a weeding out factor?
Yeah, it was a really wild process. So these are called open casting calls.
Okay.
Different than if you auditioned in August, you'd have to submit paperwork. These were open casting calls. So I was like, I'm doing it.
And this is for the product, the new product?
No, this was actually for a licensing agreement, which I did not know you cannot pitch. If you got picked, let's say I invented this water bottle. If I got picked, they said, okay, they gave you the approval. Then once you get on the show, you can pitch a licensing agreement. But at the open casting calls, you cannot pitch a licensing agreement. So here I am. I drove to Philadelphia by myself. I do everything alone. I go to networking groups alone. I do everything alone. Why? Because of the same thing we just talked about. If I'm going to wait for my best friend to feel comfortable with, she's going to bring me down. She's not going to help me go up. She's only going to sink my ship because she doesn't know how to talk the language. She doesn't know what we're looking for. She doesn't know she doesn't know anything, not in a bad way. So I've always done things alone. That discomfort makes me comfortable. So anyway, I show up alone, and you get a number and you fill out the paperwork. It was 18 pages that you were supposed to show up with, which I did. It was amazing to me how many people did not show up with the 18 pages. And then you wait in this big thing. They, give you their whole spiel. During that whole spiel, they told you that you can't pitch a licensing agreement. So now I'm like 6 hours in. I woke up at 3, left by 4:30. And I'm like, what do I do? I can't. So do I repivot and like go to my car? Because I was like I was 4 o'clock to return. Do I repivot and like pitch this differently? And then I said, no. I'm not going to repivot. Because if I'm going to repivot, I'm going to need to do it differently. I'm going to need to show up differently. So let this be a lesson. I'm still going to go through with it. I'm going to let them know when I get to the table that this was unintentional, that I didn't know. And I'm just going to pitch. And it was a great lesson. But there were people there that did not get accepted, which I'm floored about. They had great products, and they're looking for something specific. They want like a show, so I might go back. But again, I have now, since a year has come, I now am involved with other people that are very similar to the Shark Tank, that I can kind of just eliminate that altogether. But I'm glad I did it because that was an experience. It was very cool.
That's cool.
So they're looking, so to wean out everybody, they're looking for very specific things. It doesn't matter how good your product is. I believe it has to do with how you presented it.
I think that's a good lesson for life
in
general, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people out there are doing what you and I do.
Yeah.
Maybe less people are doing what you do than what I do. But it's all in how you package it, how you offer it, how you put it out there and make it digestible for people to understand. That plays a big difference in whether they go with you or, the lady down the street.
Yeah, I agree. They think about it. Think about a salon with 15 people. Why aren't they going to her? They like me. They like my personality. They like how I talk. They like how I foil. They like what. Same thing. How do you have McDonald's next to Burger King? They both sell burgers. They both have a top bun and a bottom bun. They both have so there's something to be said about we can all do it. It's the personality at the end of the day. It's how you deliver it. It's how you make them bite size and understandable for people. I think that's what makes you have the heart in it.
I'll add to that there's something to understanding who you're not for as well. Yeah. Or who's not for you.
100%. Oh, yeah.
Because you go through those challenges of like, all right, working with the wrong people and then realizing, is this something that I messed up on? Are there certain things that we need to do better? Or is this just not the right fit or right person to work with?
And isn't that so powerful when you could walk away from it and know that? Right? I think that's so cool.
It gets to a point, I'm similar, I guess, age in business as you are. We're like 4 or 5 years into this.
Yeah.
That I think it happened in this past year. That was like not fuck you money.
Yeah.
But like I don't need this. You're not pitching from a point of desperation or a point of, I gotta win this client or I have to win this pitch. It's freeing to talk to someone and give them advice that could potentially lead them away from you as well. I had someone that I actually am sending them a proposal today that when we were on the initial call said, I'm considering working with an agency like you guys, but I'm also considering hiring people in-house for this. What are your thoughts? And I just kind of was super honest with the guy on the pros and cons of an in-house team versus an agency team, and when it would make sense to work with us versus when it would make sense to invest in a full team internally. and I did my best to
Sure.
kind of lead him towards the best possible solution for him, not knowing what that is for him. He gets to
Right.
make that decision.
Of course.
But in the past, or maybe like 3 years ago, I would have been like, oh, no, you don't want to hire
Yeah.
someone for this because, and I would give him
Right.
like almost sell him on
Yep.
us. But
Yep.
I did sell him on us because of what we're great at doing, but also gave him the real reasons why he would want to
Yeah.
bring someone in and,
I get
and
that.
make that
I do.
investment.
I get that. That's it. It's like you said, fuck you. I love that. Like the fuck you. Like you don't need it so much anymore.
Mhm.
Like of course you. Oh my god, it'd be great if I got this client, but
It would be amazing if I closed every single person I talked to.
yeah.
Guess what? That's not happening.
Yeah.
Right? That's not going to happen.
Yeah. And then like even for me, like this winter break, I was actually able to be home the entire time. It was almost 2 weeks straight
That's amazing.
with my kids,
Yeah.
and I didn't work once. Like that's when I was like, okay, I'm not where I want to be by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't have that dysregulation in my nervous system the way that I had in the past few years.
Where you would be like, oh, I got to do this now.
Yeah, yeah. It was why I actually, when I had to go back to work, when the kids went back to school, I remember feeling like sad. Like this was the first time I've been present with my kids in a long time. Because every time they walk into the kitchen, even if I'm not working in the clinic, I'm working. I'm sending out, follow-ups and working on the back end, whatever it is that I'm always working. And right away, I went back to that. What do you want? What? Go to bed. Like, just go to bed. Whereas I just came off of like, there is no bedtime. Like, it was so fun. But getting to that moment like that, I don't need to do it right now. I could be home. Like, fuck you money,
That's cool.
in a sense, right?
That's a cool spot to be in where it doesn't need to be millions, right?
Right.
It could be whatever that is for you where you feel
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I went back and I was like, okay, got to get to work, but, for that, I was able to do that,
Yeah.
And then also not like when clients like, you have nothing sooner, I would make it sooner.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no, your appointment is Tuesday. I have nothing sooner. So kind of that's been powerful too.
You said you're not where you want to be. Where do you want to be?
Definitely want to be in a place where I have a team. I think when they feel like what success is for them, I think for me, I don't need a bigger house. I don't need a fancy car. I know everyone says that, and then when they get there, they get those things. But for me, is literally having my health. I want the bottom of my house to be a workout, a sauna, a cold plunge. I want to grow some food in-house, in a greenhouse, some outside. That's money, right? That I, hire people to do it.
What's stopping you from doing that today?
Costs money, costs time. Right now I need whatever money that I have that's extra, I need to invest in things like this.
Mm-hmm.
I need to invest in video. I need to invest in marketing. I need to invest in paid ads. I need to invest in social media market. I don't want to do it in that once I
So not to shoot myself in the foot, because it sounds like you're saying you want to give me money in the future, but
yeah, I do. Yes.
but or someone like us money in
Yeah.
the future, but what if you just use that money to get the things that you want right now, like the sauna and the cold plunge and the
Because
thing?
my whole bottom half of my house is unfinished, so that would require a construction guy coming in, doing lights,
Mm-hmm.
putting the ceiling in, getting new flooring, getting a bathroom in there. It's a job,
Yeah.
But like that's where I feel like my house is pretty big. It's not just being able to maintain it on my own. I don't want to rely. Right now, I have an ex. I don't want to rely on anyone paying the mortgage. Like I support myself and all my things by myself. But once I can do that and then have full control of my life and have that back, that's power.
How can I or anyone listening help you with that?
There's nothing anyone can really do. It's a matter of me, It's not about more clients. Has nothing to do with clientele. I think it's just my journey. You know, there's, of course, money will get me there, but I think the hell that I've been through in the past 3 years, not just business, but again with my ex, I think, you know, I had to have that journey. I think I really had to have that to understand that you don't need, and I'm teaching my daughter that, you know, like, make sure you can stand on your own 2 feet at all times. Never, ever rely on anyone. Because once you do and the chips fall, then what, right? So Steve Harvey talks about it as well. You have to have 3 bank accounts, yours, his, and one together.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that my kids are learning what's happened and understanding that they have power and never to give it up. You know, I think that's key.
That's a cool message.
Yeah. Definitely make sure that you have a house, you have a place to go, especially for my daughter. If you're ever being abused, whether it's physically or emotionally, you don't have to stay, and making sure that she has a safe place to go to. She'll always have my house, but maybe she'll feel differently in her 30s and 40s, like, Ma, I don't want to come to your house now. You know, like, so my goal for her is making sure that she has a condo, she can rent it out, that there's something for my kids, that they have a place to go to if they don't want to come home. Because I get that. Like, I wouldn't want to go to my parents' house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, you're talking about a safety net.
Yeah.
For not feeling stuck in a situation, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's business, personal,
Yeah.
you know, relationship wise.
Yep. Buying a condo and then using it for income as well. And then it's there if something happens.
Well, I have someone that you could talk to through that room right there,
Oh,
who's
who's
a
that?
real estate investor.
Oh, see?
Who you just met before we
Actually,
did
I've
this
been
podcast.
researching that too. I've been researching. It's very funny because from my understanding, and this is an early journey, because I love to be educated. Like, so my ex would always say to me, you don't need to know that. Well, yeah, I do, because I see things in 10 years.
Yeah.
So because I can't buy a piece of property now means I shouldn't understand the laws of it, right? I shouldn't understand the tax code, right? Like, I don't want to be uneducated. I want to be educated. So I'm actually attending free workshops all the time on money, investments, and all that. But from what I've learned about investing is, if you buy a house and you rent it, it's not the same as if you buy a house and you make it an Airbnb. There are more tax benefits. This is not tax.
This is not tax advice.
This is not tax advice. This is just my understanding, and who knows how my brain interprets things. And I will ask him. But if you buy a house as a rental and you make it an Airbnb, meaning it's not, I think it has to be under 7 days or under 2 weeks.
Short-term rentals.
Short-term rentals have more tax benefits, apparently, than if you bought a house and rented it out for someone for a bunch of years. It would be considered a hotel at that point. And if you have a hotel, you get way more tax benefits.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
You can definitely ask Dan because he's got both.
Yeah, so I'm really starting to educate myself on tax-free accounts. There are 5 of them. You know, just taking my power back. You know, like, I don't need anyone. I could do this my damn self. Like, and part of it is like driving by people's houses and going, they got that. Like, why? And that was Steve Harvey. He would just say, just if they can have it, why can't you? Like, why can't you have it? What makes you not possible to have that kind of house or that kind of car or, you know, fuck you money, right? Like, why? And that was like another thing. I was like, why can't people are DMing me left and right, learning want to know what I do. So why not make it a business? Right?
And that's what you did.
And that's what I did. Yeah.
I know you have an event coming up.
Yes.
Speaking of that business,
Yes.
What's this event?
So the event is really how to implement hair loss solutions behind the chair so that I can help the salon industry get their power back.
So this
And
is for salon owners, or is this for hairdressers? Who is this for?
salon owners, hairdressers, the beauty market in general. Understanding how to implement scalp treatments at the sink if you wanted to. Not necessarily that big scalp spa thing that, you know, your wife probably talks about. just giving them 3 things that they can implement. And then also there's scalp health classes that I'm hosting, and those are like your 6-hour classes. So we're going to talk about different scalp conditions, how you can treat it, what to do, what that looks like, intake forms, questions to ask, derm scoping methods. We're going to derm scope each other so that you guys can really understand. And then the product line that I use and why it's important, like the ingredients that are in it, why they're effective. So that's coming up in 2026, which we're in right now.
Awesome. If anybody wants to learn about that event or speak to you and learn from you, how can they get in touch?
They can visit ManeInkAcademy.com, and Mane is ManeInkNY. No, that's my Instagram. Oh my God. ManeInk Academy is ManeInk, ManeInkAcademy.com.
Very cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
This was a cool conversation that I didn't necessarily see coming.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for being just like incredibly open during this conversation. Yeah. Sometimes people come in with maybe an agenda or something that they want to talk about.
I even said it on my stories. I was like, I don't know what he's going to say. I'm here for it.
I didn't know what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to ask you about your story and learn about you.
Yeah. But see how organically that happened?
But I found myself very interested in the way that you present things. I think you're a great storyteller.
Oh, thank you.
I think you're onto something really unique, and I think your intentions are pure. And it was cool that you were just extremely open about everything.
Yeah.
I hope that anyone who's watching or who watches this in the future can feel inspired by your journey.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
Because it's damn inspiring to me, sitting right here across
thank you. Yeah.
5 feet away from you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I mean, I know you didn't have to do that, and I appreciate it. And definitely, you didn't shoot yourself in the foot. Because I am definitely going to hire you for future events. I already said that on my story. So
now it's on video, so you got to do it.
It's on video. I'm a woman of my word. And I always stay local. I will not. That was another thing with me. I don't want to stretch it any further, but hiring outside, I know that's cheaper, but again, like I said, I like to sit with someone. So seeing what you guys have here, if I was like, oh man, I could always come in or like whatever. Like I remember you invited me in to do a voiceover. Like it's just so personal, I
had that conversation with Dan a couple months ago because I've been experimenting with in-person, virtual.
Yeah.
We have some team members that we're using who live in the New York metro area, but I don't see them every day.
Right.
I'm experimenting with some like virtual overseas staff in certain positions, and the learnings that I have. And Dan said this to me, which kind of cemented it in my mind, is he's like, Steve, you're an in-person person.
Yeah.
I like to have the team here around me.
Yeah.
I get more out of people, and I get more out of myself when I'm surrounded by people.
Yeah.
And it just took me basically a year, 6 months of experimenting to determine that at the end of the day that, we need to just be in-person people.
Yeah, and I think that you'll find, your people like that, and you'll grow, and people are going to want that. And again, people who, like me, I had that experience with the girl overseas, and I'm like, nope, I need in-person. Yeah. So you'll find people that are like, well, it's cheaper, but cheaper isn't always better. Right.
Yeah, there is a cost factor to the overseas or virtual staffing.
Yep.
Or even like I have a friend who owns an agency who, he has a lot of staff in like Michigan and Arizona. The cost of living is cheaper. You can get the same level talent for a little bit less money,
right.
But you're not getting that 3 days a week in-person interaction that he's getting out of his staff that are here in Huntington and Northport that come into the office every day.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, like you said, we're just constantly trying to learn and get better ourselves and experiment. And
you have to, and that's it. Just keep going, one foot in front of the other. The other thing is I just remove watching what other people do. I keep my head in the sand. I don't want to know, because then we go, well, I'm not there yet, or like they're doing it, so I don't follow anybody. And I tell people this all the time: don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Water your own grass. Like, you will get stuck and frozen, and then because of that, you'll never make any traction. in any aspect in our life. Don't worry about the girl that's fit. You can be fit. You just got to put the time in the same way she did, right? Don't be jealous of the person that has a successful business. She was once down and out too. Like, no one's handed anything. Most people. Some people are, but most people are not. It's goes back to the saying of like, oh my God, all of those quotes on Instagram, right? Like, the basketball player that, you know, had 15 no's before like one yes. And, you know,
Colonel Sanders,
all of
J.K.
those.
Rowling, all those great stories
all
of
those great stories.
persistence.
Yeah, I think like the light bulb, he had 100 inventions prior. The light bulb, like, you know, so just don't give up. That's it. Just got to keep going.
Perfect way to end it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. That was great.